Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I am your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is March 6th, 2024. And if you just give me 1 second, I'm messing with my lights here, and I'm on green, and it's making me look like the Wicked Witch of the West. Look, now I'm in a nightclub. How do I change that color? Turn that off. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. You guys, we are back from Crystal Cruise Conference and Awards. You can hear it in my voice. We spent all week talking, dancing, singing. It was just fantastic. We had a great time on board. A huge, huge thank you to all the KHM staff that made the event amazing. And of course, a huge thank you to Celebrity, our hosts for the week. We just had a blast. It was such a fantastic time to connect with everyone and to share best practices, ideas, and really just relax after a very, very, very crazy year. Before we get started with our celebration of women today, it is International Women's Day. Just wanted to share a couple updates with you. Please let me know if you're on live and say hello to us. Did anyone see the Delta flight that is flying during the eclipse? It's now sold out, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. They've timed the flights with the eclipse. And the only thing I can say is this is the one time I don't want an aisle seat. I'd absolutely want that window seat. So very, very cool. Well done, Delta. And finally, spring break advisories, you guys, they're out. Mexico, Bahamas, Jamaica. But look, they look pretty similar to what's usually out there. These are just our heads up to spring break travelers. Know your surroundings, be aware of who you're partying with. These are kind of the same warnings we're seeing for domestic destinations as well, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, all of those. So nothing super to be concerned about, but keep an eye out on the State Department websites and keep your clients informed so that there are no surprises. Thank you so much. Hello, Vicki. I hope you're doing well. Gail, great to see you. You guys let us know that you're here celebrating these fantastic women today. So, as mentioned, it is International Women's Day. In the past, we have had inspiring women on from our different travel suppliers. They're all amazing. But this year, we decided to keep it a little closer to home. So, I selected 3 women who have just really inspired me most recently. And I've met them, I've enjoyed their company, and I've most definitely learned from them. So please welcome Stacy Diaz, Tawana Cain-Bowles, and Shawn Hayes. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
So I have to tell you, when I was thinking about this episode and we were working with our production team, I was really thinking about women who just kind of have made me sit back and go, huh, that's cool. And so, Stacy, we've met several times. Shawn, Tawana, we met recently at Boot Camp 2.0. And I kind of came up with a word to describe each of you. But before I give you kind of my descriptive word from kind of just meeting you and hanging out with you a little bit, I wanted you to each to share with our audience who you are, what you sell, how long you've been with KHM, and just a little bit about yourself. So, Tawana, let's start with you.
Okay. So I'm Tawana Cain-Bowles. I've been in the travel industry since June of 2016. I joined KHM June of 2019. And I just love to travel. I love to sell travel. And I'm just so passionate about it. And it's I can't even describe to you what it's meant to my life, honestly, and how it all came to. So I have 2 children and no grands yet, but not yet, not yet.
And you have another full-time job.
Up until recently. Up until recently. So travel is all I have now.
Yay!
Yes.
Yay! Good for you.
It seemed like a
That's
long time
fantastic.
ago.
Well done. Well, and we should say for those of you that are listening and know KHM, Tawana is a Diamond Pinnacle agent. For those of you that are not with KHM, this is one of our highest levels, right? We now have Diamond Elite, but you are at our highest level when it comes to commission earned. So that's a great perspective. All right, Shawn, you're up next.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm Shawn Hayes, and I am the owner of Travel with Shawn Hayes. And I'm located in Indiana, but I do also have an office in Michigan. Um, I've been with KHM since 2019, but didn't actively start pursuing a career in an agency until 2020. So, in the middle of COVID, I decided, let's try it. Um, so I actually did fairly well right out of the gate just because of my experience in the travel world. I was sort of born into the industry with my father being in the airline industry and living in several countries growing up. So I got to see the world before I started selling the world. And I love KHM and so many people I've met with this wonderful company.
Well, and so again, you're a Diamond Pinnacle agent, and both of you have not been in the industry for very long, and you've been in it during some of the worst times in the
Yes.
industry. So the fact that you've been able to carry that momentum is pretty amazing. Shawn, your office is also just beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I
I don't
I
have my
can
fur babies behind me. They're usually in the window looking out, but thanks.
it looks very calm. I can see myself working there. I'll be over in 10.
Come on. It's always fun. Coffee's on.
Stacy, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Stacy. Can you guys hear me okay? I hear now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Stacy Diaz. I'm from Philadelphia. I am a single mom of two. I have a 16-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter.
Woo!
Pray for me.
So another full-time
It's
job.
rough.
Yep.
I've been with KHM for 2 years. Before this, I was a certified pharmacy technician and I worked at Children's Hospital Philadelphia in lactation. So I have no experience whatsoever. Just
Wow.
learning as I
Wow.
go.
Um,
We live close together, Stacy. You only
Really?
30 minutes from me. I'm in
yeah.
Delaware.
Oh yeah, you're right. Christiana Mall.
And my kids are 10 years apart. So I feel you.
It's rough.
So tell me what prompted you to join the travel industry.
I so when I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, had a very high risk pregnancy, being 35 at the time. And I was a stay-at-home mom. With my son, I had him a lot younger and I couldn't enjoy him.
Mm.
So I decided to stay home with my daughter and really enjoy that. Um, I was sitting here, I've worked since I was 15. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? And my sister and my sister-in-law were like, you're traveling, you plan everything, you have OCD, like just do it. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. And then we were sitting at my son's birthday and they kept on talking about it. And I'm like, so I just went on Google, everyone you need to experience, and something said host agency. I'm like, what is this? And she was like, just look at it, think about it. I went to bed around 9:30. I woke up around 11. Went back on Google and K10 just had all these reviews. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. It's about 500 bucks. What do I got to lose? And it was the best decision ever.
You're also very you're cruise centric and you're very loyal to Royal.
Yeah.
That that
But
does that help with kind of the management of family and being present, which was a goal of yours, and selling a brand, a particular brand, and staying focused on that.
it did. In the beginning, I had no idea all that KHM did until Kathy reached out to me one time. You're one of the top producers. Let's invite you to a seminar at sea. And I'm like, what is this? Who is this women? And that's why I'm so grateful to her because she really told me, like, you have no, do you read your emails? I'm like, no, because I didn't know. And it was so hard. I spent endless nights just crying. And I pick a supplier and I just learned it inside out.
Mm,
And I said, I'm gonna stick with it. Then I started going to events. That's when I did the allure and I did on the concourse in Texas actually.
mhm.
And that's when I started to meet people and just skyrocketed from there.
Shawn, what prompted you to enter? I mean, you said that you had, you know, all this experience of traveling on your own. What made you decide to actually start selling those experiences?
I couldn't even tell you. I When I had decided to start my business, I was actually a special education teacher. I have a son that's on the spectrum, so that was kind of what was feeding my soul at the time.
Mm,
And my husband's in the airline industry, so I think it just started making sense because I was traveling more with him, and school was closed. I wasn't going to school.
mm,
So I just really wanted to start sharing what I knew so here's the important thing with my business is that because I have traveled so extensively over the years, I really felt like there was things that people were missing out on that weren't really focused on in the tourism industry. So, like, just silly things that I knew were really great experiences I could share. And what better way than to sell them the trip with those things included?
mhm.
So that's kind of how it started moving in that direction. And I remember I asked my husband if I quit teaching, how much money did I have to bring into the house? That was the rule. What do I have to make a
Yeah.
year? And he said $30,000. I says, "Oh, I I don't think I can make that much money on my own." And then I tripled it the first year. And I'm like, okay, no, I can do this.
Mm.
So I never went back to teaching. And then I just jumped on that train. And that train was very fast moving, which I
Now,
believe all of us feel that way.
yes. Now, a lot of agents are sitting here thinking, "Oh my gosh, she tripled it. How did she do that so quickly?" Where were you finding your clients? Because there's no
Yeah.
special sauce, there's no magic bullet.
Hmm.
Every single person's journey is different.
Hmm.
Yours happened to take off sooner than most.
Hmm.
So, where did you find those people?
Well, a lot of my people were people that have known me through the years and know my travels and know I was traveling.
Mm,
So I was always posting on Facebook my family here or me traveling there and my experiences before I was actually selling. And they were asking me, well, when I go to London, where was that restaurant you went to? Or, I see that you're in this part of the country. How'd you even find the Mauritius?
mhm,
And so I was just always talking on Facebook without trying to recruit business. I was getting that business naturally because I was always talking about travel. So it was
mm,
through my friends and acquaintances on Facebook that turned into referrals. That is where the momentum started. Referrals is That's 80% of my business.
mhm.
So I think it was just me talking. I talk a lot, for those that know me know this. And I will talk to everybody. I have talked to people blindsided with my head in a shampoo bowl, and I don't even know who the person is next to me, and they have my business information. I talk a lot.
Tawana, what about you? I mean, you had another job up until recently. Was that kind of
Oh my God, I managed 2 teams. I don't know how in the heck I did this. I mean, I couldn't even write a book about it. It just happened. But for me, it was happenstance. I traveled, I posted, and one day this young man reached out to me via Messenger and he says, "Hey, I see you travel a lot. You ever thought about becoming a travel agent?" And I was like, "No," you know. And so my girlfriend was like, "What do you mean? You book trips for everybody." I was a Girl Scout troop leader back in New York City, and I was booking for about 10 years the Harlem's chapter travel plans. I was just my daughter. I was a troop leader because of my
yeah.
child, but I was like, and then just it makes me cringe. All the money I could have made back then.
Right.
The whole Harlem chapter. And so I started researching once he asked and everybody was in my ear and I was like, maybe I can do this. Crazy thing is I researched KHM at that time as well. And I wound up going with said uh, host agency, which I won't name. And I was there for like 2 years, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this KHM thing a try.
Hmm.
And it's been the best for me.
Oh,
It's a better fit. And even though I was successful there, way more successful at KHM,
hmm.
way more.
What's been the hardest part of this journey as you've moved through the years? I mean, besides COVID, because we all know that was hard, but has there been something that's been particularly challenging?
Yeah. Having a full-time job in management and doing this travel business and having the passion you have for it. So
Hmm.
I know I say it was a hobby, but truthfully, I felt like my job was the side job. You know what I mean? Even though that was my main job,
Right.
so the biggest challenge for me was time management from a business perspective.
Hmm.
Because I say that when I first started, when you love something and you like doing it, I had no boundaries. You know, people were calling me at 11 p.m. and I was answering because I wanted to, I wanted to get my business going.
Hmm.
And that's been hard for me. And I'm just learning in the last 7 months. You know what? Nope, I don't work on Sundays. I'm not working past 7 p.m. unless it's something crucial or somebody's
Hmm.
traveling. That's been a big challenge for me.
I think that's probably the boundaries and the time that this whole career takes is probably one of the biggest misconceptions.
Yes.
I think those entering the industry don't truly understand the time that's dedicated to research, to booking, to taking care of those clients if you're doing it the right way.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I and it's challenging. It's one of the hardest things to figure out how to make it all happen. Stacy, how about you? What's something that's been a challenge?
It's a one woman show. You're trying to balance everything, your
Mhm.
home life,
Yeah.
marketing, learning, especially me being so new. I learn something every day. And I think tasking everything, me having to do everything myself is the hardest thing,
Yeah.
I would have to say. And trying to find the time for everything in between.
Mhm.
Sometimes I forget I have to cook dinner.
Yeah, and
And
that's
me and
not hard
DoorDash
after
are
just being on
besties.
Crystal. We're all like, "Okay, where is that person? What why aren't they asking me what I'd like to eat from the menu that doesn't exist in front of me?" Yeah, yep, that's
Where's that
always the hardest part.
martini?
Yes. Being the one woman show is a challenge. Now,
It's
Shawn, do you find that as a challenge? I know you're an agency director, so you have other agents under you. Does does the hardest part, the challenge look different for you?
It does just this year, and the reason that so I got caught up in the rat race, I like to call, of this industry, and chasing that diamond level, and I did it. I did it rapidly, and I got there, and then I'm like, now what? Now what? Do I
Yeah.
want to continue, like Tawana said, working Sundays until 11 o'clock? Do I want, what is balance for me?
Mhm.
So 2024 is actually the end of 2023 is when I brought on some sub agents. And they're all just learning and they're doing amazing. And I see their futures being whatever they want them to be. I'm trying to really focus on the why of my business with balance.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of changed the trajectory of what I'm actually been doing and what I'm doing this year.
Mhm.
My whys in my life are family, faith, and then my business.
Mhm.
So I wasn't giving enough time to my faith. I was certainly not giving enough time to my family. and I was giving all of my time to business, and discovered that's not my why anymore. I've got a girl that 16-year-old that's going to be a senior next year. I'm slowing it down, and I've seen my name drop down that list, and I've had to say, "Am I okay with that?"
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
I
you know what? Your name has probably moved up on the list with your kiddos and your family.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
I I tell the story a lot at our boot camp events where you this job doesn't always look like work. And so you can be sitting on the couch with the family researching away and just kind of looking at stuff, and you can feel like you're part of something. And I'll never forget when my son turned to me and said, "Mom, you're not watching the movie."
Right.
And I'm like, "But I'm here."
Yep.
It wasn't enough.
Right.
Right.
It wasn't enough. They knew you weren't engaged in what they were doing,
Yep.
even though you were sitting there. And that's when I really was like, ooh, you know, shut it down, do it later. And that's when I changed my work hours, right? Sometimes it's late at night. Sometimes I'm up before, the rooster's crowing, just so that I can be more present when they're all awake
Right.
and home. So I can absolutely see where you got there, you reached that goal. That's amazing. Now where do your priorities sit? And business is still priority, but
Sure.
maybe your priority now is growing those that you've brought into the fold. Let
Yeah.
them achieve that and help them get there.
Yep.
Mhm.
Is there something that you guys have said, "Oh wow," and you're just like, "I'm a rock star." Like there's a couple of things that I'm like, "Yeah, you did well there." What's something that you just kind of look at and think, "I'm awesome."
Wow. I would have to say for myself, and I love this, is that um, I love to share what I know, and that like I don't gatekeep anything. Like
Mhm.
if there's anything I
Yes.
can help somebody with to achieve their dream and to focus on something differently, um, I put that out there, and I think that's what I kind of pride myself on. I don't want to
Mhm.
gatekeep. This isn't just for me. This is for everybody.
Right. Right. Tawana, what about you? What are you super proud of and pat yourself on the back for?
Just to piggyback off of what Sean said, I've always been the person that I want to share what I know. If I'm doing something or someone's booking, and hey, do you know how to, do multiple origins on Vax? Do you know how to do that? And I don't be like, well, there's something over there that teaches you, but I'll just be like, hey, if you want me to, we'll get on the phone or whatever. But I think I'm most proud of being a people's person, especially in this business. And I'm telling you, every time someone just like a new client calls me sister girl or something like that, I feel real proud about that because I feel like I'm making these connections and they're genuine. It's not
Mhm.
about selling the travel. Like I'm on the phone with a client. Like I had a client that she just booked with me about 2 months ago, and she says, I really want to meet you. And she took me to brunch the other day,
Oh,
and we talked for like 4 hours. We had finished eating and we were just sitting there. I'm proud of those connections,
Mhm.
the connections with, my KHM family is so many that I've never set eyes on, but I call them sister, and
Yep.
I'm always like liking their posts and all of that good stuff. So I'm super proud that I've been able to do that.
I think it's interesting that you say those connections, because I think had you started in this industry pre-COVID, like many years before that, I would be interested to know if you still had that sort of personal connection or if you found it was mostly through text or email. My business significantly changed after COVID. It became
Hmm.
much more pick up the phone, meet in person,
Hmm.
talk all the time. Whereas beforehand, there were certain people that wanted to talk on the phone, but majority of my business was done through email. I never met them, I never talked to them. Now, very similar to your experience, I will pick up the phone, talk to a client, 58 minutes, they will tell me about everything that's going on in their life. I know everything about their children, what's going on, and the last 2 minutes, can I please have the CVV code?
Yes.
you know, but it makes it that much better because I can then call and say, "Oh my gosh, you guys, we were talking about this and look what just happened. They released this sailing. Do you want me to get you pricing?" So it's those relationships
Yeah.
that I think are so so huge. And I love the fact that she took you to brunch. That's very sweet. Very very sweet.
Beautiful.
Um,
Family.
Stacey, what about you?
Something that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm proud that I stuck it through this long. 'Cause there
Yep.
were so many
Yes.
You
times
woke
I
up
was just
today.
ready. I was so, there's times where you just, I don't know if I could do this. And because I'm still learning. You guys been doing this. This is all new to me. I
Right.
know medical stuff. Like this
Yep.
is not, but I'm glad I stuck it through. I am because I still
Well,
see the progress.
I know at the top of the show I mentioned that I was thinking about each of you personally, and again, we've met just very recently. Stacy a little bit longer, not for a lot of time, but you have to understand like just that amount of time and the impression that the three of you have made on me. Stacy, when I think of you as a gatherer, right? You're out and about and you're gathering not only people into the fold that might be on the fringe, but also those suppliers. You welcome them into your comfort zone and into your space. And I think that everyone in your presence just feels um so welcomed. And there
Cry.
I mean that's I mean and I saw that last week. I'm like, wow, she really pulls everyone together. Shawn, what I noticed from you from boot camp, you're the mama. You're the mama that makes everyone feel warm and comfortable, and you're not afraid to answer the question. You're not afraid to question the person. Um, and you're fine. You don't give the answers, you lead to the answers. And I think that it's so important in this business, and especially in a group of, 5,000 agents that we're teaching each other how to find the information instead of just giving it all the time. I think that's how the best agents grow. And Tawana, you are absolutely that person who I find silent but deadly, right? And I say that as a compliment. You have this way where you might not talk a lot, but your presence is felt. And I watched you many times lean over to the person next to you to kind of clue them into what was going on. And you do it in an unassuming way that makes people feel warm and welcome. And to have diamond pinnacle agents in the room that don't intimidate,
Right.
um,
Oh, yeah.
but are there to really share in the experience and share their knowledge, it's huge. It's really, really huge to have kind of that comfort zone. That was just a fantastic group that we had
It was.
back in January, and I still look back on that and think, okay, how do we get that group of different levels again, where there was learning from everyone, and I really felt like every single person walked out of there saying, I picked up this, and who did they pick it up from? It
Yeah.
wasn't always me, it was the rest of the room. And I walked away with my page of notes as well. Because my gosh, the minute you think you know it all, you might as well hang up your boots because
Got to keep learning.
Yeah.
you've got to keep learning. And,
So
it's just, so I want to read a few little comments. Sean's humility is what always sticks out to me,
Oh,
as Amy.
so nice.
But we have a question. Sarah is asking, what do you use for proposals, CRMs, bookings, destination, library, etc.? She's a fan of Travify, but hasn't signed up with anyone yet. She needs automation and organization. Two of my favorite words.
So, what do you use for proposals? Copy and paste. Good old copy and paste, simple.
Into
And
Word?
yes,
Yeah.
it's
See,
work. It works
some
for me.
thank you for saying that. Sometimes we get so bogged down in the tools we forget to make it easy on ourselves. And I've seen agents try to get on board with the technology piece when they're super not comfortable with it, and they end up spending more time trying to get comfortable with it than just using a tool that
And
they
I
know and
tried.
understand.
I
Yeah.
tried. I did a proposal. It took me so long to do it. And I get it. Once you build the library,
Yep.
it's going to get easier and all of that. But what I learned, the clients want to travel. They can care less about how beautiful I'm presenting it to them. My clients. They can care less. It's copied and paste. It tells them how much, what they're getting. Where do I sign up? So do I mean, I want to work smarter and not harder. And if
Right.
they're not interested in that, why am I doing it? Right? So you got to kind of know who your people are. And it's been working for me. So
Well, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why you were able to do a full-time job, and
I'm
this.
just
You didn't
copy and
make
paste.
it harder than you needed to, right?
Yeah.
It was let me give you the information you need to make an informed decision, and you knew that just based on your client population and what they needed from you.
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant. Yeah, Sarah's saying, "Wow." Right? You never know. Sometimes we're trying to make things so difficult for ourselves. Shawn, do you use any particular tools?
I do. I actually am a very big fan of Travefy because a large majority of my business is European. So, and because I have all those secrets, I
Mhm.
include those into my itineraries because I have tips and all that fun stuff that fits really nicely in a Travefy format.
Hmm.
Now, if I'm just booking an all inclusive in the Caribbean or a cruise, that stuff you can just bring over into your Travefy and
Mhm.
it's nice. So I'm a big fan of Travefy. But, for those of you that remember me from 2.0, I'm not a big fan of the CRM because I didn't know anything about it. I'm getting better. I have sent out two two of the monthly newsletters. I've done that.
Woo!
And remember this
Awesome.
one? I
Yep.
still have
Yep.
this one. It's good. Um, but I am, I'm not tech technologically savvy.
Wait.
So
Right.
Travefy is a really nice program for me, and I do not use proposals ever. I just make the
Interesting.
itinerary.
Yep.
Okay.
It's too many
Yep.
steps.
So I am big on the visual piece. When I look at things, if it's not visually appealing to me, I have to bypass it. If because it stimulates me in a way that's not comfortable. And so for a long time there were different tools that I'm like, yep, that doesn't work for me because I can't look at it.
Right.
Hmm.
And I am with you. I will use it for proposals, but very rarely. I'm more of a copy paste. Here it is in a Word doc. I have my format that I do, and for 16 years it's worked. So I
Yeah.
don't feel like I have to fix it. Stacy, you are of the population where I think, and your friend base within the industry uses all of these tools. What have you figured out works best for you?
I just recently signed up with Shopify and I love it. I'm like, why haven't I done this sooner? But I was one of those copy and pasting it, making it
Mhm.
as pretty as I could. And God bless my sister-in-law. I drive her insane because I'm not tech savvy at all, not even a little bit. And for payments, the CRM, especially
Yeah.
when I was learning, I think what's it called, Destination One. I
Uh-huh.
literally had you open also, Karen. Like, wait, what am I copy and pasting here? And it works, and I still use it, and I love it. And it's free.
Yeah. That's my other thing. I love free. If it's free, it's for me. Before I let you guys go and continue on with your very busy days, um, what is one thing you would say to a newer agent entering this industry? What would be your word of advice to someone coming into it now? Ooh, I've stumped them.
Mine would be sell what you know. Sell what you know. That start there. Sell what you know. You will learn as you go, but sell what you know.
Mhm.
I would say Learn. I would say learn, take your time, give yourself some grace. True story. I started June 2016, and between June 2016 and January, late January 2017, I made a whopping $6.58. Right? And I could have given up, but because I felt so passionate about it, I was taking that time to learn, and learn some more. And what I found was my niche, like Shawn is saying, and
Mhm.
my niche was groups. I have an ability to bring people together. For some reason, people want to go on vacation with me. I don't know why, but you know, and I use that. So if you're new and things are going slow, that's okay, because they say it takes 3 to 5 years to build a business.
Mhm.
And I know we want to come in, we're in the microwave, where we just think everything is supposed to happen. But I think if things are going slow, don't be hard on yourself about it. You should still go out there, learn as much as you can, go to as many in-person events that you can. Do something I didn't do. Boot camp 2.0. Like, I'm just doing this how many years in?
Mhm.
Get that in, because when you set that foundation, you're going to find out what it is that you're really good at in this business, and then you'll be able to just soar, and you'll be able to soar because you've created this foundation and you've learned what you need to learn to be able to be successful in this business.
Mhm. Amy is saying you're magnetic, which I think is
Thank you,
I
Amy.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I feel that way in a certain sense, like with these events and stuff. I feel like I can create that draw. You guys, I will shout it from the rooftops the day I have a group of friends that wants to travel with me. No one wants to travel with me. And to be
It's
honest, I'm
fun.
not certain I want to travel with them either. Sorry, friends, love you. We're great at the
Listen,
fireplace with a bottle of wine, but I don't know because we all have different travel styles. So
you
I
know what
don't
I say?
we could gel on vacation.
The ships are big, the resorts are bigger. We can all travel together and do our own thing.
And meet at the bar later.
Yes.
I'm
Right.
I'm gonna work on that one. I'm gonna work maybe this should be my goal for 2025. A group trip with my friends. Yeah,
Yes.
okay. It's a good idea. Stacy, what about you? What's a word of advice?
I would say connect with your fellow travel agents,
Mm,
your suppliers. You'll learn your life will be so much easier. And go to the events and use the portal. Everything is in the portal. I promise. It's my saving grace.
yeah. Well, and I think being humble enough and comfortable enough in your own skin to acknowledge when you don't know something and ask the questions, right? I'm a firm believer there are no silly questions. There are certainly no stupid questions. It's just about asking the question. You're
Yeah.
only stupid if you don't ask it. It needs to be said, and there is no reason why any of us should assume that we would know the stuff, right?
Right.
There's certain things that, yeah, maybe over time should be a little bit more commonplace. But look, we know this stuff changes almost daily. What I knew yesterday might not be what I know today. So ask those questions and don't be afraid to do that research. Is kind of what I'm always. And boy, you have to be willing to learn. Learn
Yeah.
and set aside that time. I always call it my study time when I shut down completely and I say I'm going to study now. And you have to kind of revert back to those school days. Ladies,
And
it's been amazing. Happy International Women's Day. You guys are inspiring. You're
thank
so fun.
you.
And I can't wait to see you all again so we can celebrate and party. Hopefully, Crystal next year. I will see all of you.
Yep.
Thank you to all our viewers today. I love that the engagement and I love that, you love being a part of this agency. For those that are on that aren't, um, check us out. We're a fun group of folks. But thank you all for being here today. I appreciate you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you so
having
much.
us. Much
Bye.
success to everybody.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
That's
You
the other thing, you
too.
guys. There's more than enough business to go around. We don't need to compete with one another. We just need to lift each other up. Thank you all for joining us today. They are just a fantastic. Thank you to all of our sponsors for their continued support of KHM today and next week. We have our first ever group camp happening in the home office in Brunswick, Ohio. We're very excited. I'm excited to see 30 amazing agents that are looking to take their group business to the next level. So we won't have a live show for you, but be on the lookout because you might just see a short released with our third annual cocktail competition between myself and Mr. Kevin Kelly. I think I'm 2-0, although I might have won last year. We're going to have to look at that. You guys, thanks so much. We'll see you back here on, I think it's March 20th. Take care.